Hello, this is Wiz from UNSW. I've been learning new media in China for 4 years. Now I study journalism in USW for my postgraduate degree, and this is Varoja.
Hello everyone, my name is Vladimir. You can call me Volodya, and I used to learn filmmaking in Russia, and now I learn journalism and communication in UNSW.
Yo, Varoja.
Yeah.
Recently, the news stressed me out, tells me so many bad things. The Gaza, the conflicts, the plane crash, and the drama. I've been avoiding the news so long, and honestly, my life hasn't changed without news.
Yeah, I really understand about this because there are a lot of bad news these years. The war, maybe the COVID-19, and actually, as Alan de Botton said in his book, The News a User Manual, news pays more attention to creating new facts rather than reflecting reality. So sometimes you may be affected by some bad news, even influence your emotion. That's a huge problem, yeah. So this is because when we watch or even choose some news, it's our values that's actively making this kind of choice.
Yeah, so we scroll, we click, we refresh. But the question is, why do we keep coming back? It's like Sisyphus pushing up the stone again and again. Here's a theory to explain. Uses and gratifications theory. It basically says we don't just consume news randomly, we are actively choosing it to stay informed, feel connected, regulate our emotions, or reinforce who we are.
Yeah. So in fact, people are more glad to see what they want to see, or the government wants them to see now. So, for example, the war between Israel and Iran. Maybe most people can only see the performance of their own country's soldier do in the war, and they're always glad to see this. Nobody wants to see their enemy soldiers doing the war. So maybe I think this is actually a manifestation of new politics.
Yeah, exactly. Alan de Botton mentioned this in chapter 3. Journalists construct public image of leaders by framing tone, body language, and symbolism. For example, Putin's image in China is very different from how he's seen in the West. In Chinese media, he's often portrayed as strong, decisive, even charming, almost like a symbol of stability. In contrast, Western media tends to frame him as authoritarian and deeply aggressive and dangerous. It's the same thing with Trump. For many Chinese people, he was just a golf-loving old man. But until he launched the trade war, people start to know what happened and who he is.
Oh, yes, this is personally a manifestation of maybe illusion. So as you just said, you have been studied in China for some years, and I used to study in Russia. So I want to know, what about China?
Yeah, back to the 2010s, when I was a kid, almost every Chinese family would watch the 7 p.m. 新闻联播 news while having dinner. It was a hopeful time. The economy was booming and the world seems to be getting better and better. The news gave us emotional value as well as information. But as more social problems occurs, the news become less objective. Now, if you feel unhappy, just turn on the news. You see stories of Western chaos and China is rising. So you will be grateful for what you have and what you suffer. From Alan de Botton, international news holds a powerful sway in shaping how we perceive countries and cultures beyond our borders. It's illusion, and I know it's why I start to hate journalism and propaganda.
Yeah, I really agree about this. And due to the conscious section imposed by the Western world on Russia in recent years, maybe the development of social media in Russia has been restricted. So Russia also have a new law about ban their people to say something bad for their country on social media. So a lot of people, as a this result, a lot of people can only option news from state-run television. As you mentioned just now, this can overly shape the persons of maybe politic figures. So according to this, maybe as Alan de Botton said, news economy is the reliance on advertising revenue, and some is surviving for the government and the politicians.
Yeah, if you want to avoid illusion or propaganda, maybe just stop reading news and turn to dry and cold fact.
Yeah, and I think maybe turn off your TV news won't make your
Yeah.
life worse.
Yeah, exactly. Let's turn the TV
Yeah,
off.
come
Yeah, let's turn the TV off.